All right, so hey, welcome to Managing Your Deployments with Desktop Analytics. My name's Matt Call. I'm a program manager on the Customer Acceleration team in our enterprise mobility space.
And my name is Amesh Mansakani. I'm a program manager within the Office enterprise space.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and talk about where we're coming from, where we're going to with Desktop Analytics, talk about the workflow, help you guys understand what's coming, and hopefully answer, I guess, a lot of burning questions you have. We're going to do a live demo later, so
we're hoping to.
Yeah, and then, yeah, we'll move forward. So this first slide is really talking about where we're coming from and where we're going to, right? So if we start thinking about the Windows and Office servicing strategy, what we've seen from our customers is that they've gone from an adoption rate of about every 12 to 18 months, and then a 5 to 7 year in the middle. Has anybody done that in the past? Yeah, any hands? Yeah, all right, good. What we're shooting for is this, looking for 4 months worth of effort, really just direct effort to get a feature update ready, and then we want to roll that out slowly over 12 months. But what we're experiencing is what Amesh is going to explain next, which is high levels of effort, right,
Yeah,
Amesh?
how many of you actually think this is what you guys are going to experience or are experiencing today? Show of hands, please. Right? So what we're here to do is to help reduce the amount of burden there. Because as Matt mentioned, is what we're trying to do is we're trying to get you at a faster cadence, because that's what your users are asking for. They're asking for net new set of features to be able to be more productive, right? And so what we're trying to say is we want to get you to that much faster cadence so they could start taking full advantage of those capabilities and features without going out and going get other sets of those features from different vendors and creating their own shadow ITs. We're going to be here to help you make sure we can make that happen and reduce the amount of effort that you see there. So these are the typical common pain points that customers experience today, that what you guys have keep telling us, right? We have this issue around network impact where we're constantly giving you more and more larger payloads. Well, that's one thing that we keep hearing. The second one's about manageability. We know you have a significant amount of diverse environments, and therefore you want to be able to manage it in unique ways due to, could be regulatory reasons, could be just your SecOps have some policies that they've set for your organization. So we're trying to, we keep hearing, give us better manageability tools. And last but not least is around ensuring higher quality of application compatibility as you go from one build to the next. How do you ensure that things are going to continuously work? Because you know what? I keep hearing this. If I want to get a new feature on my phone, well, give it to me by all means. I'm always excited about net new features. But as soon as I use that if I turn it around to a platform, it's like, wait a minute, if my things are not going to continue to work the way I expect it to, that new feature may or may not be that important. So we want to be able to ensure that we have constant, more guarantee, not really guarantee, can't really say that word, but more confidence in the fact that we want to move from one release to the next without doing that. So the third one, therefore, is around application compatibility.
So we start to drill down or double click into these things. What we might notice is that we have some tools in market today that can help with these things, right? So delivery optimization, being able to cache or being able to draw content from peers on your local LAN or by any other way that you set up or group your delivery optimization peers is a key way that we can reduce WAN traffic externally. We built in LEDBAT into Configuration Manager, allowing you to take advantage of unused bandwidth and allowing you to really manage your WAN links without managing your WAN links, right? So that's important. We've also, I guess, expanded Express Updates because Express Updates aren't anything new. Express Updates have been around for quite some time. But we've expanded those to allow our management tools to take advantage of them. CUs are big, and we understand that. So we want you to be able to patch your machines monthly by just doing the deltas. So that's important. And then overall, all these technologies are great to reduce getting the bits to the client. We've also done some work to shrink the size of the initial payload, right? So taking it a step further. We've reduced the size of our feature updates. We're working to reduce the size of our our security updates. And then we're also done work on the office space as well to make sure that our updates are what they need to be, not any more, not any less. From the manageability standpoint, if we can click into the next one, we have a couple things here. I'm going to start talking about configuration manager phase deployments. The PM for that happens to be in the room. And we've really trying to move the, I guess, workload off of administrators from staging rollouts to let ConfigMan do some of that work. Let configuration manager stage that content, or stage that deployment rather, and stagger it. And let's build in time boxes so we can let it bake, as it were. And then telemetry-driven insights is huge, right? How can we use telemetry to make sure that what you're doing is the right thing? And how can we use telemetry to make sure that we're validating what you're doing? So when your CIO comes down the next morning, you have data to back up your decisions.
Yep. And from an Office perspective, we have the Office Configuration Toolkit. So the OCT that you've known and loved with MSI, we've now brought that into the click-to-run world for 2019, as well as for Office 365 Pro Plus, where you could start configuring all your Office settings and then being able to deliver that to each and every one of your users. Two new things that we've been announcing this week. One is the Office Client Policy Service, which now allows you to create policies and assign them to groups of users without the need of group policies. So anytime I want to go and start logging into an Office device using my Office 365 Pro Plus subscription, I'm automatically going to get those policies that were set to, by my admin on that particular set of device, regardless of the device that I'm on. And finally, we have another tool set now that we're also announcing this week is around the Office Security Policy Advisor. And what this gives admins is ability to identify areas where we can improve the overall security posture. For example, if there's a group of users on this side of the stage, that I could say, hey, you know, we know that you're not using macros in Word, for example, and we want to be able to ensure that we can lock those down so there's not any malicious attacks, and then basically reducing your overall attack service. So those are things that we're certainly that we've announced and that we will have available in market soon.
So we start talking about a big thing with Windows, and I'm a Windows guy, full disclosure. We start talking about application compatibility. And for me, application compatibility is interesting because application compatibility can live or die by the word of one person who has the admin's ear, right? For example, you roll out a big Windows update, a big feature update, and you're all excited, you've done all your testing. One person can't run an Excel macro, and all of a sudden the entire environment's down, right? So getting that sort of data to validate why you've moved from pilot to production, I think is key to moving forward with this increased cadence. The tools we have in market today, ready for Windows, gives you application compatibility data from millions of endpoints. Has the application been adopted? Is it something other enterprises are running? Or is there a known issue that we know about? We have the Application Health Analyzer, which will do static analysis of applications maybe that are internal to your business. And we'll be able to surface those insights up through desktop analytics to make sure that you're seeing those when you're making your decisions. We also have the Desktop App Assure program through our Fast Track Center. Alex has a great presentation on that, I think, sometime this week. And then, of course, Desktop Analytics. The Readiness Toolkit for Office, of course, is another great tool that Amesh will talk about.
Yeah, so the Readiness Toolkit for Office, apologies for that, it helps you really understand what is going on with your add-ins and macros within your organization. We've gotten so many inquiries about ensuring that those things are going to continuously work well as we go from one release to another within Office 365 Pro Plus. And with this toolkit, you could now start understanding your overall set of inventories and then being able to understand what may or may not go wrong as you are going to be deploying your next release of Office 365 Pro Plus. But we've done a better job on that now as well, where we're starting integrating all of that into the desktop analytics, which...
So the question becomes, what is desktop analytics, right? So everybody knows of desktop analytics? Show of hands, maybe yes, no? No? Nobody knows about it, huh? Okay. Oh, wait, no, their hands up. All right, so desktop analytics is what you've come to know and love about Windows analytics and more, right? So there's a couple key things that we've tried to build into this product, or the team has tried to build into this product, that are important. Number one, everything you use in Windows Analytics today is going to be there, and we're hoping to make that data richer, right? The second kind of thing that we're doing is making sure our integration with Configuration Manager is great out of the gate, with Intune close to follow, right? We want a single pane of glass for IT admins to be able to manage and make decisions without having to flip consoles or go through device health or, flip around in different portals. We want to also make sure that we get a full view into all of our assets, whether that's Office or whether that's an application inventory report. We want all of that right there. And we also want to be able to monitor the deployments and monitor how our pilots are doing, right? I want to know if 1,500 devices failed because the disk is full. Not that that's ever happened any time ever. So that's important, right? And we also want to be able to talk about our success, right? You want to be able to walk into somebody's office and say, just to let you know, we had about 1,500 machines go out last week, and we had a 99.6% success rate, right? So it's as much about what went wrong as much as it is about what went right, and that's important. So our approach.
So our approach here is to look at, to provide you three key things. Like, there's one thing that we could say is, hey, we're just going to give you a lot of data, but what does that really do for you, right? Data overload over a period of time just becomes not as useful. Now, if we could start providing you with key sets of insights, that's where things get really better. So we focus on three key areas, right? And the approach is focused on intelligent assessments, being able to use things like machine learning and AI to really be able to identify, look at your environment, and give you the right set of recommendations. Then followed by that is looking at shared insights. Wouldn't it be great to know that if you're going to a target version of Windows or an Office, that that particular driver has a good chance of failing because company A or company B already had that experience, or Microsoft is informing you about that. We have a vast set of knowledge within just Microsoft itself, and it'd be great to just expose that so you can know and reduce the overall amount of time that you need to validate. How many of you are just sitting there constantly and doing just massive regression tests, or being able to do, just overall tests for every single applications by just going from 1 click, 2 click, 3 click? Like, that becomes a really tedious and a long set of process. So every organization that we've talked to, they said one of the biggest things and one of the challenges that they have is this long period of validation. So if we can help reduce that by providing you with those type of insights, that would be useful. Do you guys agree with that? Great.
Yeah, I mean, how many people in this room have heard the term, well, we didn't test for that, right? And it's like, okay, well, what did you test for? Well, we have this script of 17 million things that we run, and we pay somebody to sit at a desk. Like, at some point, a static list isn't enough. So with desktop analytics, we want to move that, right? We want you to be able to pilot, but we want you to be able to pilot in such a way that end users can use it, and then they don't have to report back, which is key. You get that insight.
And that's where we move on to data-driven validation, right? What we're saying is, instead of waiting there and doing a deployment and waiting for your users to call help desk and go, did anybody call? Matt, did you call? Anybody here? No, okay. So, good. So the idea is, instead of waiting for that and bubbling up via operations or bubbling those issues up via help desk, can't we just leverage telemetry to send signals back and say, hey, in aggregate, I got these people who are faced with an issue around that one particular driver, and that is going to help increase the overall amount of uptime that you're going to have for every single one desktop. In fact, we actually did that internally when we first started this project at Microsoft. We looked at all of our MSIT, now our CSEO organization, and we said, out of all the desktops that we have, what are the top issues that we're facing? And we did find a pocket of where there was just this one driver, if we knew about it earlier, that we can help reduce the amount of nuisance. How many times have you done an upgrade and somebody goes, my Office is slow, and we don't know why? Is it because of the Office itself? Is it one of those third-party add-ins? Is it something else that they downloaded? We don't know those things. And by doing the data-driven validation method, we could now help you take that data directly from those devices, go through our solution, and be able to provide you those impacting issues. Because if I give you a full list of just your event logs, you're going to be sitting there for months trying to parse through all that. We know we walk away as soon as we see that. But what we do instead is we condense it down and start showing you what are the things that are going to be most important. Did it crash nicely? Was it graceful? Or is it a true issue that a whole bunch of people are seeing that you need to put a stop to?
Yeah, so super important. So, you know, some of you might be wondering, well, this sounds fantastic, but what do I have to do to actually use it? Do I need to ship my desktops to Microsoft once a month? Probably not. But we have this notion of telemetry, which, is there anybody in the room who isn't familiar with telemetry? Good, don't raise your hand, because people will come for you. So basic and enhanced are usually the two that people know about. We have this notion of enhanced limited, which was introduced later. But for diagnostic or telemetry requirements, we're really looking at those two parallelly. We want people to use enhanced because enhanced gives you the richest amount of data. So basic is what's required today for Windows Analytics. It gives you your inventory of your apps and your readiness data that's pulled from Ready for Windows, does that matching. But when we go to enhanced minus or limited enhanced, we start to get more data. How much is the app being used, right? Think about device health, right? How much is the app being used? What sites are they using? Deployment data, like how fast or what are the scenarios that are failing from a deployment perspective? And then health metrics, right? So how healthy is that, right? And how do we take those metrics, right? And how do we take those metrics? We also have click-to-run telemetry, which is very hard to shut off, but we leverage that. Common question we get is, what about MSI Office? And the answer to that is, it's collected as part of our app data in Enhanced Minus. The Office Readiness Tool gives us richer insights. So talking about deploying the Readiness Toolkit and starting to get your macro risk levels. You start thinking about getting your add-in inventories. And then, you know, the AHA tool or the App Health Analyzer, being able to take those insights from that static analysis of your LOB apps and bring those into the desktop analytics portal so you can make decisions based on that information. So that's key, right? From there, let's really start breaking it down and what we need. We really think about it in three different ways, right? Or three different, I guess, phases. We have system onboarding, which is, what do I need to use the system, right? What do I need to use desktop analytics? Data gathering, you know, how do I get my telemetry data from my clients to the cloud, so to speak? And then, how do I execute and create a deployment plan? So how do I take this data and take action on the devices and the assets in my organization and move forward? So the first one, system onboarding. Couple things we have here, right? We have assessing the portal, right? Or accessing the portal, sorry. I guess I can't read today. Accessing the portal. Desktop analytics will be available from the desktop management console, which is a console that we're trying to focus right at the client administrator, okay?
How many of you heard of the desktop management console?
Or DMAC.
A couple of you? Okay, so that's a new console that we just recently announced that actually consolidates all of the different desktop management capabilities into a single view. That doesn't mean you can't get to it through your basic portal at azure.com, but if you go there, you're going to see all of our 200 plus different capabilities and services that we have out there. And what we did with Desktop Management Portal is we consolidated those that are really focused purely on, like I said, the desktop management, which includes like Intune, log analytics, and the upcoming desktop analytics. You'll have all of that available in one single place, which is desktopmanagement.azure.com, which you can go, .microsoft.com, sorry, which you can go to today.
The onboarding flow is very similar to what you guys have done in the past for Windows Analytics, with the exception of the first bullet, which is requires global admin. We've streamlined the onboarding workflow so you go into the desktop analytics portal, right? And you can just click on one button as a global administrator and set everything up. So there's no more bouncing around in between different panes and asking people to do different things. The workspace setup, very similar to what you're familiar with today. And of course, the commercial ID, almost identical, if not identical, to what we use with Windows Analytics. And then there's kind of the third thing, which is Connect to Configuration Manager. So how is this different than Windows Analytics is today? And the important point here is that ConfigMan has skin in the game, right? So ConfigMan can upload your collections that you create on-prem, not all of them, you select which ones you want to upgrade or upload, to the analytics portal. So that way you can target deployments to collections. Does that make sense? So you don't need to use OMS groups. That's what I'm trying to get to. Then what we can do with that connector is we can write device readiness state back to individual objects. Is that device ready for pilot? Yeah, it is, because all the assets on it are ready. Well, ConfigMan now knows that, and now I can build a dynamic collection based on that and start deploying using Configuration Manager.
And over time, we're going to give you a richer set of information. Things like being able to tell you the type of, the tracking the version, what are the remediation notes that are going to be necessary. So if you know there's a pre or post action that needs to occur, then that will also be sent back to Configuration Manager so the ConfigMan admin can start building those task sequences appropriately.
So data gathering, we kind of covered this, but I'll just reiterate and kind of double click, I guess, on this. Deploy the readiness script. The readiness script is the way that you get your data into analytics. That's key. We do a bunch of different things in there, like checked endpoints, so you can configure your proxies correctly. We do things like make sure the commercial ID is set, so you can get telemetry properly. We do things like set IE opt-in settings, so you make sure you get your telemetry correctly. The key is, to make sure you get your telemetry data correctly, you run the script. Maybe that'll change in the future, but right now, that's the way it is today. Want to talk about global assets?
Yep. So once we have that information and you have started selling telemetry back up to our service, we can now start seeing a rich set of data, very similar to the Windows analytics today, right? But we start collecting additional sets where we're looking at Office add-ins, Office applications as well, where we're putting all that together. And we're giving you a full set or a full global view of that. Now, what we can do here is we can then start ring fencing a small portion of that, whether you decide to do your deployments by business units, by geographical locations, or by excluding more sensitive devices that they are not ready to go. In fact, we've seen a number of our customers that are currently using this in a private preview, that's exactly the format that they're taking, where they're saying, here's a significant amount of my organization that I can go address, but then there's these really sensitive units that are going to take much longer for me to go and help update. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus my first plan on those ones and then be able to do that. And that's kind of what this deployment plan is going to go into. So let me show you kind of what that looks like here. So I'm going to switch over. And in fact, as any demo, you guys can see that now, as any demo goes, there could be some issues with it, so I hope you bear with me. But before I do, I want to make sure that my folks in Redmond, all of the developers who worked on this, see you guys liking it before I show you the actual demo. So, everybody in for the selfie?
Here, hold on, I'm going to get down here. Ready? Here we go.
Here we go. Ready? 1, 2. Say desktop analytics. Nice.
What? That's it?
That was it?
Putting you guys to sleep? Like, this is the first live view of the portal, and that's all you guys? Oh, man. Oh, geez.
Well, let me show you the portal regardless. I appreciate that. So here we have the actual homepage or the home dashboard of desktop analytics. You're going to see a whole bunch of stuff. Once we start sending and gathering telemetry into the portal, I'm going to be able to see all my security updates, all my feature updates across both Windows and Office that tell me how current I am across those product sets. Then I can see my assets right here where I have all my devices, all the individual applications, Office apps, and add-ins. And then down here, we see a full diversity of the release and versions of both Windows and Office. And here's kind of that deployment plan that we talked about. If we want to take all these 2,000 devices, we can create a single deployment plan and start deploying directly to it and going through the overall recipe. But instead, if we go into the deployment plan itself and we create a deployment plan, we could start, like I said, ring fencing this. So if I say Contoso deployments, I could start now. The first thing it's going to ask me is what are my products and versions that I want to go for. So I can go for both Windows and Office concurrently. I can do a Windows-only plan or an Office-only plan. And based off those, it would give me the right set of guidances to be able to address that overall workflow. Now, from a version standpoint, we'll obviously give you the latest and greatest. We'll recommend that. But if you want to decide to go for a slightly older that is in support, we show you those versions as well. And then beyond that, it's going to ask me what are my groups that I want to go. Now in this demo, we only have the OMS groups, but as Matt was mentioning earlier, with the deep integration with Configuration Manager and the microservice connector, we can now start seeing those device collections pop up here. And don't worry, as we mentioned earlier, you're not going to have to expose all 100,000 device collections, because we know how you guys all are with device collections today, right? It's all about being able to expose the ones that are important to you, and that's going to be really fruitful for this particular, deployment. So here I'm just going to pick up the all devices right here, and then beyond that, I'm going to set those target as my target group. And then I'm going to go into readiness rules. Now, these readiness rules are really cool and really powerful here, right? Today, we have a couple of set of features. One is around Windows OS and Office, since I picked both the Windows and Office plan. And what I can do here is start identifying some of the workflow items that I really want to do. For example, I want to go get drivers that I know are going to be available in Windows Update, that I no longer have to go figure out through task sequence. I can go and mark those particular those drivers as ready to upgrade. The other key thing here is we actually have this 2% mark, which we can actually modify. I want to kind of show you what that really means, right? Let's go back into our full set of assets here. As you can see, here's all the different devices, but the key thing is around applications. Now, remember I told you earlier, if you look at a deep, all the data that we're collecting for you, there's just a lot of stuff. There's no way you're going to wallow over this data. It's just going to take you way too long. So we have this idea of saying, hey, if we could show you, first of all your data, which is in this example, 39,000+ different applications. Wow. Never going to go through page 1 on that one. But then, if I can actually start showing you what are truly your noteworthy applications. And what does that mean? That means anything that's installed in greater than 2% of your devices, we can significantly reduce that down. And in this example, it's 1,151. That is a lot more manageable, still quite a bit, but a lot more manageable than sifting through 39,000+ applications there. We do the same thing for Office add-ins that will start classifying and reducing that. And that's actually a fairly accurate number. Based off all the information that we've collected from Windows Analytics users, that's exactly what customers are telling us, that they're coming down into the 8 to 1,000 application range. Now, so one of the biggest requests that we got from there was the ability to go ahead and modify that number, because as you decide you want to have either 3% or 4%, we can go ahead and modify that here. So I'm going to go back into that.
Yeah, so if you guys are thinking, well, Mesh is doing that, what would I use that 2% for? Why is that? I mean, do I want to adjust that? In general, I would say that 2% is probably a really good number. Our analytics team floating around would say 2% is probably a really good number. But what if you create, think about this scenario. What if you create a deployment plan for 100 devices? Are you saying that I want to see every app that's on more than 2 devices? That doesn't make any sense. So that's where we get that 10% slider in, and that's where we'd expect you guys to start moving it around, if that makes sense.
Now, keep in mind, the caveat there is there might be some apps that you have truly only on 2% or less than 2% of devices. They're going to be extremely critical. And those you're going to have to go fishing for. And you probably know what those are regardless, right? The ones that are required for end of year or quarterly reports, the ones that are done seasonally, and only a very few set of folks actually, are privileged to actually using it. You're going to have to go back into the actual assets and go get that down, go get them directly from there. Now, similar with the Office applications, as I mentioned, you have the ability to do the same thing here. We do have that 2% slider that you can go modify that as well. Now, we have a couple of other options that we have here. We have the ability to help you get from 32 to 64-bit version of Office. We know a lot of folks are actually getting ready to do those. How many of you are actually either planning or started using 64-bit Office? Okay. So quite a few of you are actually in the midst of that, and that's exactly what we've been hearing. So we've been asked to provide the set of guidance that will give you the confidence of being able to move to 64-bit, mainly for what we hear is mainly to take advantage of all the Excel power that's available there.
Yeah, and just to double click on that for a second, clicking these boxes doesn't mean that we're going to force you to do it, right? Double-clicking these boxes or sliding the yeses over or whatever, like the leave deprecated apps installed and then the 32 to 64-bit, make sure that we show you the correct readiness data for your scenario. So for instance, if we see that a COM add-in has a problem or an Office add-in has a problem on 64-bit Office, we're going to surface that if you're going from 32 to 64-bit. If it runs fine on 32-bit, you might not see it.
Yeah.
Right? So
the way I like to always say this is my colleague Zach says it pretty well. What analytics provides is the recipe to your deployments. That's why we call it the deployment plan. It just gives you that particular recipe. You're still going to need the chef, configuration manager, to be able to do that actual deployment, to set up the actual set of task sequences and be able to remediate and deploy the bits to the individual devices. So none of this that you're seeing here is actually modifying any single particular device. The other thing that we have here is we can start giving you information around leaving deprecated applications, especially from an Office standpoint, right? We have those of you who are using InfoPath. So if we do detect InfoPath within those particular devices, we're going to start flagging those and letting you know about that. So as you do push those, as those devices or those applications become ready and those devices concurrently become ready, you're going to be notified about targeting those devices and ensuring that you leave InfoPath on there. Now, this is, like I said, just the first foray into the readiness rules. We're going to have a lot more on here. We've already gotten requests such as, hey, how about if we kind of take some categories of applications out and always exclude them, always set them to ignore. I don't really want to deal with that. So we're looking at multiple different ways of making your overall workload much easier by leveraging these kind of readiness rules. Okay, and once that's done, essentially, I'm going to go ahead, create that deployment plan. It does take a bit, so that's why I'm going to do this little food, my little food trick. Goes in the oven, the other one comes out, right? So this is my deployment plan. This is not my deployment plan. Let me go get that. So what's going to happen here is this is what a deployment plan will look like. And we have multiple key things right here, right? With all the information that I entered in the deployment plan itself, it starts showing me the number of devices, what percentage of completion it's gone through, and then kind of give you some information about runway that you actually have. When is the end of support for both Windows and Office? We know we change that every once in a while. We actually let you know what that looks like directly on the dashboard. And comparing to that completion date, which I actually skipped over, you can now see how that runway is comparing against that. Are you actually overestimating your deployments or underestimating, and are you going to make it on time? Then on your left-hand side is what I like to call little swim lanes. We have this prepare, pilot, and deploy. We did extensive research with a lot of the organization and enterprises to really figure out what is the right set of processes that you guys take. And we kind of mimic that directly here on this particular dashboard, where we give you a lot of different direction of what that looks like. So let's kind of talk about that and before we go further into the demo.
Yeah, so as Mesh mentioned, we have it broken down into sort of 3 phases. And the easiest way to think about this is I'm going to prepare for my pilot, I'm going to pilot, and then I'm going to deploy. And in the portal, what you'll see is we have these workflows set out for you to execute. It's not going to map directly to what every organization does to move a feature update in Windows or Office, but it should be a good framework for you guys to get started. In each phase, we kind of have key activities. So an important thing to note is that what you've seen up to this point, outside of the deployment plan, applications have been at a global scale. We have a global set of applications, or a global set of assets, I guess is a better way to put it. Those assets are then brought down into a smaller scope for a deployment. And that scope is dictated based on the scope of the deployment plan. So if you target a collection for deployment, when you go into these panes, you're only going to see applications, Office add-ins, macro data for those devices, right? You're not going to see the whole estate. You're just going to see it scoped to those deployment plans. So what you'll end up having to do is going through and setting asset importance. Why would you want to do that? I set it on a global scale, and now I'm coming back in to do it on the deployment as well. Pretty simple. I know that Java 8, update 246, has a problem with the next version of Windows. So I might mark that critical, right? And that's specific to the deployment plan. Maybe I know that another app isn't going to really be affected, or I'm planning on removing it during this iteration of the update. So I might lower the importance. Same sort of deal with identifying your pilot devices and resolving known issues, right? So all those things are trying to get you to the point where you can pilot. So you might ask, well, what known issues do I have resolved? Well, I have all this data from Ready for Windows and from analytics that tells me this driver on my going to brick the machine, and I need to remediate that before I move forward. But all of this prepare phase is getting towards the pilot, which is kind of the next step in the whole process.
So once you've received your overall set of pilot devices and you start deploying those out to your organization, this is kind of the key difference that what you do today versus what we are now recommending, right? Typically, you would take those devices, you would put them into a nice little IT friends and family kind of ring, and then you would start, maybe giving it out and dishing it out to other folks that can, easily yell at you from down the hall, or they can fix it themselves. But the idea here is we want you to start deploying, and again, using that data-driven kind of telemetry, the insights, to be able to tell you what exactly is going on with your network. Even before your users call in, we want you to be able to get that kind of information. So once you have that, we can start, once you start deploying, we'll first start telling you the overall deployment status. And deployment status is all focused about in flight. How do I get from version 1 to version 2? And did version 2 land properly on that particular box? And if not, tell me what the issues are. Tell me in aggregate what the issues are. Who are my impacting issues that I got to go solve for today versus having those one-off phone calls, which your operations or your desktop folks can go handle. Then once you have the bits on the box itself, what happens after that is we start baking that and ensuring that there's enough usage and enough time to be able to start seeing health signals and health statuses, where we're telling you if there's a particular issue with that, or in comparing it, like Matt mentioned earlier, before and after the upgrade, and of course, against your peers in the commercial space. So we give you that commercial average comparison, and we'll tell you what could potentially, what is going wrong if something is actually going wrong there. Once that's done and the health signals are starting to move to a positive signal, then we're going to ask you to kind of sign off those individual set of assets. And as those start unblocking, we're going to be able to start seeing and start unblocking your production devices.
Yeah, that's right. So as I say that my devices have assets that are all good to go, they start becoming ready for production deployment. And that's super important. I just want to say that again because it's awesome. Imagine a world where you don't have to rely on a guy who sits in the back, and I'm sorry if anybody's in QA in here, that has run through a script to test an app. But imagine a world where you get information from 150 pilot devices that are being used by users on things like crash rates, session closes. And not only do you get that data, but you have the ability to map that data back to what was happening before the update, what's happening after the update, and how those metrics compare to what's going on at other organizations. Like, that's huge. So now, yeah, full applause, huh? Come on, guys. Doing my best up here, okay? Yeah, so that's super important. And as you mark those devices ready for production deployment, we can now sync that data back down into Configuration Manager, right? So now I know that this device is ready, and I can build a collection that has all the ready devices in it, and I can start to target devices in that collection for update, which is pretty important. We can also start to resolve issues that are happening during both the pilot and the production phase, right? So I can say, hey, I'm deploying this, right? And now I'm seeing higher crash rates on this app. Let me pause for a second, and let me go figure out what that is. Same thing with the update itself. I want to be able to monitor the health of upgrades as they happen, where they happen, regardless of how they got it. And that is what we really relate with the production health monitoring aspect. Monitoring my move from one feature update or one office feature update to the next, which is super important. But the key here is really the pilot recommendation. And that's where we've done a lot of work.
Now keep in mind here, so today with pilot recommendations, with pilots in general, like I mentioned earlier, we go with a small ring with folks that are really close to you, the folks that are typically in IT. You start deploying it out to them. I don't know about you guys, but I'm one of those guys who gets constantly updated. I don't always typically have the time to be able to provide the set of feedback, but with, and then beyond that, we're not even sure if we have the right amount of coverage for all those critical applications, those make and models, those drivers. Those are constant things that we're hearing from IT admins, right? From folks like yourself that are telling us about this. And then once we start validating, we start going out to a larger and larger group set. And again, we're just waiting by the phone to see if anything's actually occurring. So with pilot recommendations, what we're saying here, or what we're doing here, is we're actually looking at all the important assets that you've actually classified in the earlier stage. And at that point, we're going to give you, using a machine learning algorithm, a diversification of all those critical assets, the make and model distribution, the important and critical apps as well as add-ins, all of your Office apps, and then being able to put that together and saying, you know what? These are the set of devices that you should truly go pilot. And what we've seen with that algorithm is we've significantly reduced the number of devices that you truly need in an organization. You don't really need a lot. But the question that we keep getting is, you know what? I don't know if I totally trust you yet, Microsoft, but can we still have the number of devices that we really care about? I still want IT to be part of those. So the answer to that is, yes, we can do that. We have the concept of global pilots where you could say, always include these particular set of devices or groups of devices within that, using the same device collections that you've built and published via Configuration Manager. But what about those that I don't want to be able to target? I don't want these folks because they're either not friendly or honestly, they're my executives, and I don't want to be pushing out these bits to my CEO or anybody else that are high valued from a working perspective, that we can't touch them for any reason.
Yeah. So just one thing on that before you go on. Think about the power of that for a second, right? So stop and think. A big piece of feedback we've gotten out of our private preview program is this: I have this great pilot group, right? And it's great, right? Everybody's in there, and we get great validation and feedback. What happens is we bring them into this tool, and our pilot recommendations pane, which Mesh is probably going to show you here in a second, says, well, that pilot group's great, but only covers 57% of your assets. So you have apps that you're not covering in pilot. You have hardware makes and models you're not covering in pilot. You have Office add-ins you're not covering in pilot. How do I make that better? And oh, by the way, you can add these small number, usually it's like 25 or 30 devices, to go from 56% to 100% with redundancy. Meaning, yeah, we have it out there and we're piloting it, but we also have enough devices that we're getting session data and crash data to give you meaningful or statistically relevant results, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a huge thing, right? Because we always know that devices also go on vacations, right? Somehow they break for some reason, or they're just not turned on all the time. So we want to make sure we have the right set of redundancy to be able to go, okay, if one device is decommissioned for some reason, or just on vacation for a long period of time, we have other devices that can also represent that same particular asset. And of course, the shared insights, right? That's a key piece of desktop analytics. Being able to make sure you're not hitting problems that other enterprises are hitting. There's no reason for you to hit issues that somebody's already hit. And we want to be able to show you those insights in desktop analytics so you can make decisions based on them. I don't want you to brick devices because you haven't tested a driver and we already know about the driver, and it doesn't make any sense. So giving admins that sort of insight into what's happening outside of their perimeter is a key component to making sure that you have a successful pilot and production phase. And then device and deployment health. So Matt touched on this earlier about being able to look at all of the data-driven validation to ensure that you have that highest confidence possible to be able to sign off on these individual particular set of assets. Now remember, I mean, we keep saying assets and we keep saying devices. There's kind of really two pivots here, right? It's all the individual assets that we have, whether it's an application, the device itself, even the Office apps or add-ins, and we have the devices, which are going to be the ones that we're unblocking to ensure that anything on that particular device, we can go ahead and unblock. The health here is really what's critical. And now we're not going to keep showing you tons of just overwhelm that's just going, well, is that error actually relevant or not? No, we're actually going to start giving you one key metric called the health status that will tell you whether we're meeting these goals or we have an issue. And then you can start diving deeper into what those particular issues are and start resolving them. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. Anything else you want to add before I start changing over to demo?
No, I mean, let's make sure the demo's good, I guess. Everybody got their fingers crossed?
Might help if I switch the
Oh, no.
screen here.
Here we go. Yeah, so...
Hey, demo's open.
Yeah, yeah. I think the important kind of, I don't know if you guys have gotten the theme yet, but it's give you data to make better decisions and to make you look good, right? Or bad, but you have to surface the data forward to frame it correctly, right? You need to do your due diligence. And we're going to go through how to execute a deployment plan right now. So
yeah, so as we talked about earlier, right, we're going to be in the prepare phase. What we want to be able to do is quickly drive all these numbers down to zero. So the first thing we're going to see is we have a number of assets that we need to go and review. And this is where the classification comes into place, where I have a whole bunch of apps and add-ins in this case. I'm going to go directly to them and start seeing what's available. On this little, what we call the summary card, we have two key pieces of information. One is, how much work do I have left to get done? Because you can see about still 548 assets that I need to go and still set some kind of importance and review. And then here's my overall breakdown of how many are critical, important, and actually not so much. And then again, that 548 tells me what I haven't done yet. So I can definitely jump into one of these. It starts showing me insights about that overall particular set of asset. So in this particular one, you can see I have about 78,000 installs, about 89% of my organization. And then what the overall usage looks like from that last set of 30 days, or actually loading at that point. Just some basic app details, some ready for Windows information of how well it's been adopted. Do we have a support statement? And then any AHA insights if the AHA tool was out there. And then from here, I can start changing and looking at what my overall ready decision is, or my upgrade decision, and then how important is this particular asset. Remember, by identifying how important things are, this is where we're going to start looking and generating your actual pilot information. So if I quickly switch over to start identifying my pilot, once I've gone through that, you could see that I already have the 495, which I've classified as important to me. That ring zero, my IT organization that I really want to go deploy. And then you could see what the diversification looks like. I got 3 hardware types in there. I got 31 apps and so on. But honestly, that only gives me a redundancy about 12%, right? 11.5%. And then about coverage of 31%, close to 32%. Not that much, right? And more and more that you add in there, and most likely your ring zero folks are going to have very similar set of configurations. And therefore, you're still, the more and more you add, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the right set of coverage. So what we do with this algorithm is we go, okay, at this point, you still need 592 to get to that 100% coverage, right? With a good redundancy of 70%. Now, the reason this is actually high, and yes, I said that number is fairly high, is because I've yet to classify all the other applications there. You saw we still had some 500 some applications we had to do. As I start classifying which ones are truly important versus not, and I bring that number down to 0, then this number will most likely decrease. Because out of those 500, I'm probably going to have another 60, maybe 80 critical line of business applications. And so that's how I get to a reasonable pilot set. Now remember, we talked about the fact that if I wanted to have my global pilot set up, I could certainly do that on this particular screen, where it gives me the table, where I look at the device collection, and being able to then say which set of groups are going to be always in my pilot, which ones are not going to be in my pilot. So I have the ability to include and exclude directly from here. Now, going back to my...
I want to point out one more thing on that too, right? So in the deployment plan, you saw a pilot recommendation, which we'll get back to in a second, of 495 devices that were brought in and 592 devices that we're recommending. Does anybody think that around 1,000 or 1,100 devices is an unreasonable pilot size for an estate of 90,000 devices? You think that's high or low? Hands up if it's high. Hands up if it's low. Is there no way that could be true? I know, right? So go ahead. I just want to point out that this is a piece of feedback we get all the time is, what do you mean that I only need to add 500 more devices and I have my whole estate covered? It's like, yes. Well, we're ranking the devices in such a way that you're adding devices to your pilot that cover multiple buckets. So you don't need to do all these other devices to test every asset in your estate. And that's key.
And so that formula is actually just shown right here, right? Here's all the things that we do to actually make that happen and show you what kind of redundancy we have. So we cover all that directly in the product itself. And then once we're ready to accept that set of recommendation, we can certainly review it. We can go, no, we don't want one of these. So I can have them replace that particular that device itself and go, you know what, give me a different recommendation. That's not going to work for me. But if I like all of them, I could just add it to the pilot, come back, and we'll be in good shape shortly after that. Now, going on and moving on to prepare the pilot. Now we can see here, these are the set of apps and particular drivers that we need to go deal with, right? Again, bringing that workload down, giving you the information before we've able to, before you actually experience a bad situation, right? Telling you exactly what is known. We typically know it could be drivers, antivirus, and a couple of other things, but by sharing that information becomes really powerful, right? And getting you through that.
And that's scoped to the pilot. So in this pane, you won't see all your assets from the 87,000 device deployment plan. What you'll see in here is the things you need to handle for those 1,000 devices, breaking down the workload. So you can say, all right, before I go to pilot, I gotta go ahead and deal with all these apps and deal with all these drivers, which is great because it's a small number, but that way we can move forward with a successful pilot and not test every application on every device, which is important because we want to get the pilot out the door. We want to get that usage and health data back. We want to get those statistics back. And we want to be able to move forward with the process without slowing it down with validating every application before we go to pilot, which is important.
Yep. So again, we're driving this number down to 0 and going, hey, what are the things that I really need to do? So in this particular one, System Center Endpoint Protection, right? What is actually going to happen? So it's going to tell us what is going to happen during that particular upgrade and what we're going to do, or what you need to do. If you're good with this, you can just go ahead and go ready. But if you want to make sure some changes and be able to inform the config manager team about what that remediation action should be, we could just type it right here, say replace with next version, and then now I have a decision that says, hey, we're ready to go here, but what's pending a remediation effect. So, and on the other side of the connector, we're going to get that information back, right? On the config man screen, you're going to say, hey, this device A is actually ready to go. Device B and C are not, but device A actually needs you to take pre-actions to ensure the successfulness of that actual deployment. So we would save that information here and then have that sent directly to config man. So now let's talk about what happens once config man receives that, right? So that's when we go into the deployment status. We could see all the devices that are started, in progress, or completed, but then we can also see the ones that are actually having a particular set of issues, right? We always see this, oh wait, there's a disk full issue. So what are the devices that are actually affected by that? How do I go deal with that? Do I need to run a cleanup and so on? And we're going to enhance this area with a lot more information that's going to tell you kind of what those error codes are, what potential resolutions are. So those things will be coming up over time, but this is kind of the area that you would go look at to make that happen. Now, once we have, like I said, all of those different ones directly on here, all the bits on the individual devices, we could start looking at how they are doing, right? Are they meeting goals? We put in quick slicers, very similar to what we have in Excel, right? Be able to filter directly and say, hey, what are all the ones that are meeting goals? Or actually, are there anything that would attention needed? I got nothing here, so my thing's doing well. No data, most likely because nobody's touched the actual or used the actual asset itself, and that app needs to be be used. So that's a great opportunity for me to go to those sets of groups that are using and told me that those are critical. That we have to go say, hey. Yeah, you probably want to be able to use those things so we can get the right set of signals to be able to evaluate how good or bad the actual app's going. And then we can go ahead and start looking at information around this. How well is it doing, how not? Here's where I'm starting to get my overall health status, it's meeting goals, and how are they doing from an overall crash perspective. Now we're starting with crashes here. Now think of a time where we're going to start adding additional set of metrics, where we're looking at performances. Is login causing a problem? Are we having load time performance issues? All of that is going to be enhanced around here so you could start making these decisions in a more meaningful way. So we're going to bring that in to our overall algorithm and give you that health status factors, right? I mean, the health status itself, and give you that more confidence of how things are doing or not. What is the activities of my devices? What are the number of sessions? What are the other versions out there, right? If it's not this version, if this version is going south on me, is there another one that I should be looking at? Maybe a driver that's maybe one version older would be better for me to go deal with.
Yeah, this is, like, for me, the holy grail, right? I spend a lot of time deploying devices. And, for me, to be able to look at each individual application and be able to have some sort of thought around what's happening is so powerful. If a mesh clicks over to the mixed results pane, this is what's super powerful to me. If you look at these apps here, mixed results fall into this bucket when devices don't have enough sessions on a certain application to give us any meaningful data. So for me, what that means is, yeah, I piloted it, nobody used it, and so my pilot isn't really done, right? Like, I didn't sign off on the app because I don't know what status I'm at, right? So for me, that's super powerful. But just the indicators and being able to see, here's how I rank against the rest of the commercial industry. Here's how I rank before and after update. I mean, imagine being able to go to your boss and say, hey, boss, I just did this update, right? And he's like, well, that's great, but Excel is just crashing all the time, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, that's great, boss, and I really respect your opinion, and I'd like to keep my job. So what I'm going to tell you is that we have 2 million sessions on the old version that have a 0.1% crash rate, and on the new version, we have about 200,000 to 500,000 sessions, and it's crashing less. So I need to understand exactly what you mean by being able to say that it's crashing all the time, right? So that, to me, is super, super powerful. Is that super powerful or not? Yeah? A little excited here. This is the first time we've shown it, and everybody's like, oh, man, I'm going to leave. Like,
now, on top of that, we've actually not just given the information to you, our individual product teams are getting similar signals, right? From a global level, we're looking at, from a global perspective, what are all the crashes that are occurring all over the world? And so that's going to help us really figure out what are things we need to address. And from an office perspective, if you're on the semi-annual targeted channel and you're deploying through those through those particular channels, we can now detect those anomalies and then be able to go, oh, wait, we have our daily stand-up. Let me go ahead and start figuring out what are my top issues and go address them. And once we get that, we start addressing them within the next build. Depending on whether we have a fix or not, we can be able to deploy that out, right? So those are things that are going to make all of this extremely powerful because we're now being able to share that information across our product teams, across enterprises, obviously in a privacy respectful way, but we're going to be able to show that information and then be able to share it all around.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, let's hear another one. Man, I tell you what.
Now, to wrap this up, I want to be able to show you guys a couple of things, right? Like, once this is done, we go ahead and say, hey, it's ready. We're good to go. If it's not, we're gonna say, yeah, well, we actually are going to block it, right, for right now until we address and figure out what's going on. And then, as we mentioned earlier, it's just a rinse and repeat at that point, right, where I can go back to my plan. I can just go, okay, I have a number of devices that are now being unblocked, and I'm just going to go through the same 3 steps again to deploy, make sure I have good confidence, and be able to view the overall health before this is over, right? But it's not actually totally over, because we now have to do this on the next stage. So again, back to that initial chart that you saw in the beginning, we want to be able to reduce that overall amount of effort that it takes for you guys to be able to make these actual deployments happen. But we're not done yet.
But that's not all.
Feature and security updates, right? We now also have a good reporting globally of what your feature and security updates look like. I know from those of you who've experienced Windows Analytics, you're gonna be like, yes, but if I deploy a feature security update, I might find out a day later whether it was successful or not. Well, good news. No, you won't. We now are implementing what we call near real-time data. It's a separate pipeline that's going to be able to process those particular set of feeds in a much faster way. No longer 24 hours. What do you think? Can you guys guess? Somebody give me a number. 4 hours? 4 days.
They really don't like us.
4 hours. 1 hour. How about 10 to 15 minutes? Right? So the 2 key scenarios that we are pushing for there, one is device enrollment, because typically device enrollment takes a significant amount of time because we're inventorying your entire device to be able to send up, and obviously we have to be respectful about your network to be able to send it up short, in small amount of chunks. So but we could start telling you immediately that those devices have been acknowledged by our service, and you could start seeing it flow through the overall system. And the second key one is kind of what I just said around security, being able to provide you with that quick information and going, yeah, there's a 0-day vulnerability. We need to get those patches out immediately to all those devices, and you could find out in a short period of time.
Yeah, just imagine a scenario where a certain build of Windows or Office has a problem or has a 0-day. Let's just call it 0.123 for this instance. Remember the pretty chart that Amesh is going to put up here? Imagine being able to walk into CISO's office and say, see this red part? This is 0.123, and this is the timeline in which it declined, and this is how fast we moved away from it, right? So imagine being able to say, yeah, we found out on, I can't see the date, but 11 August it looks like, that was a 0-day, and here was our response, right? And we moved to the new version of Windows, or the new point release of Windows, so the new cumulative update at this speed, and this is the type of data that we want to be able to give IT admins, so that way they can stand in front of security people and say, I respect your opinion, but this is actually what happened, right? And this is the telemetry that we want to drive through that, regardless of if the device can talk to Configuration Manager, can talk to any other tool you use, right? We want to make sure that we're leveraging telemetry. So if I'm on the internet, and I'm a pretty key believer in I'm not vulnerable if I'm not on the internet, but that's a whole different conversation. So if the machine's on the internet, we're going to get that telemetry back, right? So that's important. That's super important. I just want to call that out.
Yep. So we could see all that information here based off the different version spreads that you have. What is your overall adoption goal? We want to be able to help you with that as well. As you're receiving Patch Tuesday bits, we want you to be able to start measuring, because we know everybody has their own different adoption goal around Windows and Office, and it varies organization by organization. Sometimes I hear, oh, I actually need to deploy within 24 hours or within 72. Some people I hear needs to deploy, they have to deploy within a month. So based off of that, we can start being able to track that and see how well you're doing against that particular adoption goal. From a feature update perspective, we also show you that holistically across your entire organization, across all the different channels that are available, and we show you that version spread again in a chart here, where you can see how well you're doing in adopting every single one of those set of bits, again, across both Win 10 and Office 365 Pro Plus. What you're not seeing here is perpetual Office, right? We need the service to be available, and as you know, Office 365 Pro Plus is a cloud-enabled productivity tool, which we'll be able to then feed in here, and we can give you the right set of insights. So we encourage you to move forward and be able to adopt Office 365 Pro Plus so you can have these particular insights, as well as be able to get all those features out to your individual end users. As you can see here, I can see all the latest releases that are available to me. Here's information about end of service as well. If I have multiple different versions within my organization, which we all know we kind of do, it's how do we need to figure out how to address those particular set of devices. If there's a pocket of 100 or 1,000 devices that somehow we skipped or missed, or just they weren't able to move forward, can we start ring fencing those, create that deployment plan for them, and get them onto the latest version? So that's what we have. Do you guys like it so far?
All right, great. So what can you do today?
Deploy, deploy, deploy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so what you can do today is start using Windows Analytics, okay? Remember, I think I might have covered it as well. We're leveraging the same data warehouse in the same telemetry pipeline that we use with Windows Analytics. So when we start to move forward with desktop analytics, it'd be really helpful if you had all your telemetry approved, it was flowing correctly, everything was good to go, because there's nothing worse than having to wait 6 months for approval on a tool you want to use today, right? Run the deployment script, right? That's the way to get data into Windows Analytics. Use the Office Readiness Toolkit, right? Mess around with the AHA tool. Understand where you're going to deploy it and how you're going to deploy it. The documentation is inside the zip file. Read it. Get OMS log analytics set up, right? Start moving forward. Build your network strategy. Does everybody in here have a network strategy? Like how you're going to deploy updates? Yes, no? Yes, right? It's probably a mix of a couple different things. But know how you're going to move these feature updates and updates around your network. I can't tell you how many times I go into a customer site, and I go into a lot of them, and they say, well, it's reaching out to the store for store updates, and I didn't know it was going to do that. And it's like, well, you knew it, and we've talked about it a lot. Just make sure that you have the ability or you have the landscape set up for success on the network piece. Nobody likes this next one, so I'll say it very quietly. Identify your application portfolio and owners. It doesn't matter if you classify all the applications in the world if nobody owns it, right? That's important. And get current with Configuration Manager. The Configuration Manager, yeah, thanks, dude. The Configuration Manager team is incredible, and they are in a booth less than 1,000 feet away. So if you have a question, if you have a concern with getting current with Configuration Manager, it's been easier than it has ever been. Don't come between 9:30 and 11:30, because I'll be working the booth. But any other time, come and ask them about how to get current, right? That's important. There's no reason to go slow with Configuration Manager. If you're going to go fast with Windows and Office, you need to go fast with Configuration Manager. End of story, right? I don't want to even talk about it anymore. Get Configuration Manager up to date. I don't want to talk about how Configuration Manager 1606 doesn't support 1809. I don't want to talk about it. Like, it's counterintuitive. So make sure that you're doing the right thing and you're getting up to date.
Yeah. And if you need more resources, we have plenty out there on this aka.ms/how-to-shift. We're talking about it all week long. We have plenty of spots down at the booth. Come and see us. Ask us more questions about desktop analytics. So at this point, we have tons of additional set of resources around all the sessions that are occurring over here, links to get you, up to date and get you all the right tools. We talked about a lot of different tools that we have today. So get on Windows 10, get on Office 365 Pro Plus, start having those conversations around telemetry if you haven't already, and let's start, staying current with Windows and Office. On that note, we thank you very much. If you have any questions, we have 2 microphones. Please let us know.